Should we have some situation in which we shoot shit, literally?
Two possible interpretations to that. Are we lining shit up in a firing line and actually shooting at it?
Oh, it's
Or
all of
are
it. There's
we,
shit in a
or,
needle, and you're
yeah.
injecting it into your veins.
Oh, great. That's just going to be our just say no PSA. Or are we actually loading shit into a cannon and firing that? Because you know what? There is no situation that I can think of where I want to do it.
Oh, the one that I was imagining was there was like a shit beast, and it was being shot at. Somebody screams, "Shoot the shit!" Runs away.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's better. It's a shit demon, just like in Dogma.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it the Dogma shit demon, or do we have our own shit demon that we would create?
Well, I mean, I don't imagine that it would be specifically that shit demon, but they might know each other.
Did Randy's gigantic shit become sentient at any point? I don't recall.
I don't think so. Wait, maybe it did. Did it call him father?
I can't remember. Oh, maybe there was. I can't. There's too many things converging. Uh,
Yeah,
would
South Park has gone too many places for me to have any kind of clear recollection of what it has done.
did they ever establish an origin story of Mr. Hanky?
You made me choke on my drink. I don't think so. I hope not. I really hope not.
That would actually be very funny. A birth scene, the doctor going, "It's cresting" or whatever. They have shit doctors sitting around an asshole as go push. Just breathe, honey. Just breathe. It's cresting. I can see its head.
What have we done?
We've given. Oh, are they mad scientists? And they're all staring at each other like, "What have we done?" Okay, it's not shit standing around an asshole. It's doctors, and there's like one of those surgery blankets, and there's a cutout except for around a butt, and there's just a butt sticking out. And then the doctors are sitting around going, "It's happening. It's finally here. The gestation. It's ended."
Okay, but it needs to be the product of mad science, so there needs to be like some psychotic diet involved and supplements.
I'm trying now. I've gotten it totally. Is it a whole body? It's a giant body, and instead of large doctors standing around a human with a butt standing out, there's like small creatures gathered around. It's tied down in a sort of what's that? Gulliver's Travels sort of way, but they've constructed like a large shrine or temple out of the human's body with the butt at the top of these like what are they? A ziggurat stairs, and then at the bottom is a gigantic head, and they're just constantly feeding the head. They're bringing in offerings to compel the ritual, and if you bring in enough offerings, it will shit out the shit demon.
So it's actually a giant. Is it?
I don't know if it's
So it is a giant. There's a giant head at the bottom of the ziggurat stairs. So all the sacrifices we roll down the steps just fly into its mouth, and eventually the shit demon happens.
Is that funny?
Uh, I think that is the basis for a really crappy C comedy horror movie.
A C comedy
Maybe
horror movie?
maybe it's a B movie, but it's probably a C movie.
Oh, okay, I'll take that. Tucker and Todd are capable of writing a C comedy horror movie.
That does sound like something that they would write.
But what they're going to be writing this week is something entirely different.
Entirely different.
I should say what we will be writing, because this is the Tucker and Todd cast.
That's accurate.
And I already said in the intro that it's a podcast where we write episodes of what was going to be a comedy sketch show, and now is like sort of an adventure story show with whole episodes involving continuous characters.
But there are sketches dotted throughout it.
Yeah, it is compiled of sketches. It is a sketch golem.
Yeah, it's like an Adventure Time show now.
Oh, I know what's happening. 1 second. Give me a pause.
You have a pause.
It was all extra my fault.
What was it this time?
I forgot that the Xbox keeps downloading in the background even when you tell it to turn off.
Oh, and it doesn't let you throttle its bandwidth usage?
No, it actually I think increases the bandwidth usage because it's like, well, I'm not doing anything else. I can go full Steam now.
Oh, so it's not like Steam where you can just say maximum of 1 megabyte per second if you're downloading something.
maybe probably somewhere in there, but I just unplugged it and I'll take care of it later. I would prefer to have a pristine connection.
As little interference as possible. I have a feeling that somebody around here is streaming something, but we have more than enough bandwidth that I won't even notice.
That's good. Okay, so what we were going to do this week, though, was we were going to continue our story from last week. Let me get my document up.
We were going to go limitless.
Yeah, the end of the last episode. And now I have to ask you if Limitless is a reference to specifically the Bradley Cooper movie, or was there a Limitless before that?
I'm pretty sure it's just a reference to that movie.
I've
And
never
and I
seen that
think we're
movie.
just subverting it because he takes drugs to become limitless and we're not taking drugs to become limitless.
Right, we were taking drugs with, well, we didn't know what the drugs were for, I don't think. I believe we were misled
Yeah,
as to
we
what the
had we
drugs were
had no
for,
idea. We thought we were just taking some vitamins.
because that's what you're supposed to do, yeah. But they were to keep us limited.
Yes, they were limiters.
Oh, I had a line that popped into my head. Oh, because we were talking, because Plato thought it was enlightenment. I was wondering if we should call it enlimitment.
Well, I mean, technically it is enlightenment in stage 5, but everybody who's observing us, who is aware of the situation and really knows what's going on, is looking at a some kind of document. This is, stage 6. It's coming. But
Right.
and enlimitment is funny.
And then unlimitment for is the opposite of it, or unenlimitment.
I like unlimitment for just like the title.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking of. So, do you recall precisely how last episode ended? I know that our main characters were us,
Vaguely.
Plato and Straight Woman, and they were, if I recall, had started off proud. Were either of them skeptical? One of them was skeptical, I feel like. Straight Woman was still
Straight woman was skeptical because she is smart and genre savvy and is skeptical of everything. But Plato was proud, and we kind of ended the episode with Tucker and Todd basically going around and starting to right the world's wrongs because they are in stage 5, which is enlightenment. So they are aware, and so they're wise, perfect wisdom. So they're going around and solving problems.
and I believe that oh no, never mind. That what I was about to say was how last episode started. So that's already established. I was going to say, I believe we were going to show us starting, or maybe that's how we do kind of like a hat trick on a gag, because 2 episodes ago we started with the TV starting one way, and then we used at the beginning of last episode watching TV the same way, but us responding differently to show that something was different. Do we do that one more time to show now that something is actually very different?
Oh, well, if we want to show that things are very different, what we need to do is start the episode with Tucker and Todd watching Jeopardy and doing it properly. Being able to nail every question on a trivia show, that's the true sign of brilliance.
Oh, is that a remark? Is that Plato's remark? That's where we key in Straight Woman and Plato are sitting there. Straight Woman kind of like kind of furrowed brow. Something's going on here, but or Plato's trying to convince her, like, see, I told you, this is a true sign. This is Jeopardy. Blah blah blah. What you said.
Yeah, we're nailing every single question on Jeopardy, so we are truly enlightened. If we wanted to start with the TV thing again, then Jeopardy is probably the way to go. But we're gonna have to resurrect Trebek.
Would it be funny if we are continuing Cody's what's it called, education with other pop media or pop media, pop culture stuff? We're showing him he's watching the scene from Groundhog Day of Phil Connors, is that his name? Shouting the Jeopardy answers, and we flick it off, going like, "Turn it off, Jeopardy's on."
Actual Jeopardy is on.
And what's his name from Rain Man walks past and says something about what's his other show that he likes?
Oh my gosh. Now I have to go back and remember Rain Man.
I don't know why I thought just typing in Rain Man into Google would give me the answer.
Didn't it? That should. Yeah, Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, People's Court. No, there was a guy. I feel like there was a show that he watched that had like a guy's name. It's
Oh
not
man, I'm sure
important.
it did. The point there, though, is that not only was Dustin Hoffman's character autistic, but he had savant syndrome.
Right. Is it should we then call it appropriate to have him as a little oh, maybe he doesn't even maybe he doesn't even do any lines, but he's just like in the background in the kitchen or something like that.
Well, if he's going to be in a scene, something has to get knocked over, like a jar that has 1,000 peanuts in it, and he has to count them in an instant. But that is basically a one-to-one of the scene in the film.
Oh, I get it. The name that I was remembering from Rain Man was he keeps saying 3 minutes to Wapner, but Wapner is, I guess, from the show The People's Court. 3 minutes to Wapner. I don't know. Is it appropriate to have the dropped items and counted gag?
It's not a gag when he does it. When he does it, it's just an expression of savant syndrome.
Then
But
should it
that is the single best reference you could ever make to Rain Man.
is the dropping and counting?
Yes, that is pretty much the defining scene for his savant syndrome.
Then I feel like it should be a little bit more because that I have seen but 9 bajillion times. Just here's a guy, he drops the things, he counts it. I think it's sort of obvious and low hanging fruit. So if we could do it as like a word play,
It is obvious and low hanging fruit, and that's why you've seen it a million times, is because it's the single most iconic scene in the entire film. The rest of it is pretty forgettable, actually. So if we could do it through wordplay, I would be all for it. You know, I love wordplay.
oh, it's because it's a matchbox, right? That gets dropped in the movie, or it's matches.
Was it matches or toothpicks?
Oh, was it toothpicks? I thought it was matches.
I think it was in a restaurant.
Oh yeah, it was toothpicks.
I saw the scene recently. I might have seen the entire film, but I only remember seeing that scene because everything else is just that scene again.
Well, I guess that can be something that can be figured out later, specific word plays and jokes. But the sequence is watching Groundhog Day, interrupting it with, and actually, it's kind of funny to start with Groundhog Day because we're starting our episodes over 3 times in a row the same way. See, so it's
Exactly.
funny, and then
Multi-layered, like an onion.
yeah, or an ogre, I guess.
I've never tested how many layers were in an ogre.
I would have to assume
I've never, tried to chop one in half with an axe to count the rings.
you would assume a dermis, right, and then a subdermis, and then musculature, and then veins, and then bones.
I
So like five,
expect a
six.
really thick layer of subcutaneous fat,
Oh, of course.
and I bet it smells like onions.
Well, that's where the saying comes from.
Oh, the saying comes from the fact that they smell like old onions, and rather than because that they have layers.
Yeah, the writers of Shrek were just misappropriating, or I guess was the appropriating. They had no place to speak for ogres or onions.
Those dickheads. Moving on, we are interrupting our viewing of Groundhog Day to turn on Jeopardy because now that we are also savants, we love our trivia shows.
Oh, are we also part because we're savants and we need to maximize the usage of our time? Are we also like doing something ridiculous with our hands while we're watching Jeopardy? Are we like and thing that came to mind was pottery, like potting, like a potting wheel or whatever. But that's dumb. But something I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I think both of us with one hand should be writing articles for The Onion, and then with our other hand, we should be, like browsing through some kind of news looking for problems in the world to solve. I mean, whatever problems are left, because that's actually how we will be
Oh,
doing the
good
very
idea.
first, that's how we'll be doing the very first stage of this episode is flexing more of our enlightenment and solving more of the world's problems and ingratiating ourselves to humanity and giving everybody more reason to trust us.
And as we're sitting there writing, straight woman comes over and says, "What are you guys writing?" And I say, "We're writing for The Onion." And she kind of smirks and goes, "You guys think you can write satire?" And we both look up like indignant. And I go, "Yeah." And you say, "We have layers."
now, now the now it's meta.
Yeah.
Yes, we have layers, and then I guess briefly we turn green and have weird ears.
Oh, yeah, for that shot, just for that shot, as we say that.
Oh yeah, she has to approach us from behind while we're sat on the couch. So it shows the back of our heads and we turn our heads. So before that we weren't actually our faces weren't in view. But as we turn our heads there we have green skin and Shrek ears.
Perfect.
We're filmmakers.
Yeah.
We have layers and then I guess the it'll have to change almost immediately to once again us just being us.
And I don't think she doesn't like react with shock like that was something she saw. That was just specifically a sight gag for the camera
Yeah, yeah. That was just for audience.
because it's also a cartoon in that way. It's sort of Looney Tunesy, or I guess that's more SpongeBobby.
Column A, column B, little of
Yeah,
both. Especially because I think SpongeBob probably draws from Looney Tunes a bit, especially with when it comes to cartoon violence.
yeah. I think we all. I guess we just all do. It's just the culture of cartooniness.
Yeah, it did a lot to codify the culture of cartooniness. That's why the Looney Tunes will never actually die. It's become embedded in the culture.
Imagine when they start trying to pull down the statues of Bugs Bunny.
I will be there on the ground, ready to die, in front of the
This is
bulldozer.
this is what compels us to movement.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny will be the first time I've ever been willing to lay my life on the line for something.
Speaking of which, I heard that Ukraine is uncomfortable about the 100,000 Russian troops on its border. And they did a poll of their population and found that about 30% of people in Ukraine said that they would be willing to defend against a Russian invasion with gun in hand should the day come. And so they've started a volunteer military branch and are having people like sign up in droves by the day.
That's interesting and also scary because that sounds like a really good way to escalate hostilities in the region.
Doesn't it just though? It's
Oh
a weird
boy, I can't wait to pick up a gun and go point it at some Russians.
because that will surely scare them off.
Yeah, that won't provoke any kind of response and and that won't destabilize the region at all.
No, that won't drive them to want to put you in your place.
Yeah, the Ruskies will give a slap.
Anyways,
Yeah, political.
that might be I don't know. It's an interesting I mean it's an exciting I don't know, my words. Let me
It's not
consider
the
my
good
words.
kind of exciting.
No, it's terrifying and it's a weird thing to read in 2021 that the countries are still like, let's do good old-fashioned European war.
Yeah, no kidding. It does seem like a sort of aren't we over that kind of
Yeah.
attitude, but no, we're not. We're not.
No.
Humans
Well,
don't get over that.
we don't get over anything. Look at there are still commercials for like come buy your Christmas tech.
Okay, where were we? I guess we're watching Jeopardy. We need to at least get a couple of what is questions correct before we find something in our news search that compels us to leave the TV show behind and actually start the adventure.
Right. Okay. And so the point of the adventure, at least in this episode, is us actually. So, is there a catalyst for us moving into phase 6, or is it just a natural progression?
I want to say it's a natural progression, but so far, every time previously, we've had a proper catalyst. Like we get to the threshold, and then something happens where we get to actually have a threshold event that pushes us over. So we're gonna have to probably wrestle with that a little bit. But the first part of this, now that we're done with Jeopardy, is we have to go and solve some problems and be enlightened.
Oh, you mean for now we need to go around doing a little bit of enlightened behavior? Oh yeah, I guess we had just become enlightened at the end of the last one, right?
Yeah, so we have to spend a little time being the good guy so that there's actually dramatic narrative significance to us crossing that last edge and going into tyranny where we're basically going full-fledged patronism.
So, because Plato is so supportive of our enlightenment and believes in it the most, has he sort of become our like publicist, like manager kind of guy? He's setting up gigs for us. Is he? He's like he's lining us up. Oh, remember even in like Hercules, Hercules becomes a hero, and like Phil starts booking him appointments or whatever.
Yeah, I want him to be our Philatides. I think that would be great. And now from now on, I want Plato to be voiced by Danny DeVito.
Yeah, please.
Call me Phil. Yeah, he needs to sound like he's from, you know, Queens
Yeah, the shore, the long shore.
or Brooklyn.
Where did those names come from? Longshoreman, Stevedore.
I have no idea.
Okay, so Plato is booking us gigs. He now has an East Coast grimy accent, and because yeah, that's good because we didn't use that voice on the baby, so now that's the voice that Plato has.
Oh, that's right, we didn't. The baby just evil.
Yeah, I forgot. Um, this story though, so good things that we could be doing. Are we speaking at are we doing like an Apple like a Steve Jobs style keynote speech?
Oh, are we gonna actually go up on the stage and start doing? Once we start running out
We
of
do a
big
Todd
real
talk.
world problems, we're gonna start doing Todd talks. I like
Yes.
that.
And we've got the big red logo on the back. It just says Todd X or whatever.
Yeah, Todd is he's started like a multinational charity organization that also happens to be a massive education, a big educational thing, and so we're doing a Todd talk. In the meantime, Tucker has gotten into stuff like automation.
Oh, does it turn into kind of like a documentary style? Like we have talking heads with chyrons as we're describing our exploits, and it's cutting back and forth to our Todd talks and whatnot.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because I just imagine myself with myself. That's kind of funny. I imagine Todd with the close up face, or sitting in a fancy, um, like mahogany lined paneled office room or whatever, with the carpet and the single wingback chair, and speaking into the camera with the chyron where it says Todd philanthropist. And I'm like, well, I call myself it, like talking candidly and kind of like, oh, gee shucks.
Oh yeah, of course. But I definitely think Tucker needs to get into stuff like automation and like in ways that eliminate the kinds of jobs that nobody wants to do and open up brand new ones like
Oh, it's
industry
like,
overhauls,
do you support UBI?
like a big industry overhaul and automation and like people no longer go to war, now machines do it for us.
Oh, you'd convert the military into the American Engineering Corps or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. So Todd is that way Tucker has a thing to do, and also because I have a plan for how he's going to turn out when he goes full tyranny.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So if Todd's going to do this massive educational thing and the Todd talks and all that, start considering how it can be once it starts becoming extreme.
Well, I watched the first Kingsman yesterday, and I think it might be something like what Samuel L. Jackson was doing in that one.
Oh yeah, I quite possibly.
Like, yeah, I guess it would be like just out of control rhetoric and mind control of some sort.
That is basically the final stage of education is indoctrination.
Yeah. Okay, I figured it out.
Well done. So yeah,
That's easy.
basically we're big involved in a couple of industries, and right now they are eliminating like several of humanity's problems. Like we're destroying scarcity, we're getting rid of hunger, we're educating people, we are introducing automation that turns large scale farming back into a real thing rather than just agribusiness. So we're feeding people.
None of that burning and trashing mass stocks of food to maintain supply and demand.
Yeah, no, none of that. And also, the automation definitely has to involve highly efficient transport of foodstuffs.
So we start slowly turning the world into a utopia.
Yes, that is the basic goal of enlightenment, I think, anyway, is to not only become wise, but use that wisdom and also try to make everybody else wise as well, which is the education part. So, what kind of problem might we find in our news reading that we're going to be compelled to put down Jeopardy for? Because we're probably pretty busy these days. This is our very limited leisure time. So what's important enough for us to put it down?
Like, I'm wondering, would it have to be genuinely high stakes? Like, is it something that's threatening, like a large population or something?
Well, now that we're basically being ourselves played straight, it probably does have to be important. We can't use cartoon motivations anymore now that we're enlightened.
So, like a natural disaster?
Yeah, I think disaster relief would be the kind of thing that we would get pretty heavily involved in.
It's Barbara Streisand is attacking a city.
Oh, actually, I think we're going
It's the
to.
wet ass pussy.
Oh my God, no, no, no. What we're going to do is we're going to read a few news articles that to everybody else seem entirely unrelated, but to us are actually a forecasting of an impending disaster. So not only are we going to respond to a disaster, we're actually responding to it before it occurs. We're so intelligent
Oh,
that we can basically 5D
precogs.
chess it. Yeah, we basically see it coming. We're like, that definitely, these are all definitely indicators of such and such an event is about to occur.
So Tom Cruise comes in as his character from Rain Man to retrieve Dustin Hoffman, but he sees us bent over in our recliners doing the precogs from Minority Report, and he's like, "What the fuck? What movie is it? Like, what set am I supposed to be on, or whatever?"
Am I on the wrong set?
The audience
Anybody?
laughs. It's the only time in the entire scene that the audience laughs.
Oh, yeah. And then out of nowhere, Christian Bale yells at the light guy.
Yeah. What was the? I can't. I wish I knew my favorite line, but the like, "You're not a bad guy, but we will never work together professionally. I like you, but
Oh,
we will never work together professionally."
he's
I
a
can't
nice guy. Talking about him in the third person. He's a nice guy. Not
remember.
talking to him, just talking about him. What a disaster that was. So I guess Tom Cruise can come in and collect his brother, and then we need to be out the door because we need to go and warn whatever nation of this impending natural disaster. Uh, the real question is by now if we've established enough credibility that they'll listen to us.
Oh, so what is the sequence of events? Because this is the event that, so we haven't established all of these. Right? Okay. Sorry, I needed to catch up with where we're going.
Whatever the events are, they should seem totally unrelated to us and to the audience. Like to all the real people, they should seem like totally unrelated events. Like
Oh, you're talking about those. Okay.
yeah, like I don't know, maybe Activision stock plummets, and somewhere over there, there's a grass fire, and it's threatening to destroy a town, but it seems to be under control. And then over there, there's I don't know, fireman saves cat from a tree. That one is
Yeah,
about as
so,
simple as can
but
be.
oh, yeah, a bunch of random events. So what I meant by events, though, so I was trying to figure out the timeline of us having our TED Talks and, like, us reaching the peak of showing our enlightenment, but then I remembered this scene where we're watching the news thing is all before all of any of that. This news scene that we're seeing, or the sequence of these news events that you're talking about, is what inspires us to go out and start enlightening others?
Yeah, the whole the ultimate end goal of enlightenment is to begin to spread it around.
Right. So I guess the events that we see on the news that we pick out and recognize a link between can all just be five totally random things. It doesn't matter what they are. I think you already said that. We don't, as the audience, have to recognize any connection between them, but Tucker and Todd do. And ultimately, what is the connection? Were you asking me what is the connection we find between them?
Oh no, there is no connection. The only people who could ever see or understand it are these enlightened supreme beings that they are now. These
And
higher
then you were
level of beings.
And then you were saying we go to authorities to say the world needs to do something about this, but what reputation do we have, or whatever is what you said, right?
Yeah, do we have the credibility
Credibility.
to make them listen to us? Because if this is occurring before we develop big reputations and all that, then probably nobody listens to us. And then suddenly we are in the news because we knew it was coming. We could have stopped it.
Ah, that's true. Oh, one of those.
And that is how our little montage of our various leaps and bounds in various fields of industries begins. Because first we get noticed thanks to this event, and then we start getting opportunities to prove ourselves, and then it just goes crazy from there. And then eventually we're doing Todd Talks.
So whatever this event is, then because we said it would be serious, so are we as the writers, not we as the protagonists or whatever, are we making a sacrifice of some sort of group of people or population or whatever? Are we going
We
to make some people die
probably,
right now?
yeah, there's probably going to be some kind of devastated region or city somewhere. Who whose turn is it?
Oh, it's Atlantis. This is how Atlantis disappears.
Oh, I love that. That way, it's actually not anybody real, and we can do basically whatever we want to it.
Exactly. This is how the mermaids died out.
This is how Atlantis was destroyed. Okay, that's perfect.
And Plato screams, "No!"
He would too.
Okay, that's fun. So we destroy Atlantis. Everybody is truly devastated because Atlantis was like the crown jewel of Earth.
Yeah, if aliens were to visit Earth, Atlantis would be our diplomatic attaché to be sent forward to deal with them. That they would represent all of Earth.
Is it going too far to say that destroying Atlantis actually puts Earth in peril? Like having Atlantis in place was protecting us from some force that was encroaching from outside of the atmosphere or something like that. I don't know. And then so Earth sees, oh fuck, we lost our chance. We didn't appreciate what we had or whatever they said. They gave us an opportunity to save ourselves, and now that's why they are truly invested in what we have to teach them.
I don't know because if Atlantis was so great, then a lot of people would already be enlightened, probably.
That's true. And I've also just decided that raising the stakes that high would make it harder to raise the stakes for all of the villainy stuff later.
Yeah, so Atlantis was probably a perfect little utopian society, but it was also probably a bit isolationist. They didn't want to share.
I like that. That's good. They were the kingdom on the mountain.
Yeah, and what it would have eventually transpired that we wanted to convince them to share. But and we were going to go over there and solve their impending disaster in the hopes of encouraging them to share, but they were instead totally devastated and now Atlantis is in ruins under the sea.
Perfect.
And we somehow we managed to show the math or whatever. We demonstrate that we knew it was coming, and we prove that we contacted authorities and that we were rebuffed.
Oh yeah. We
So
have the
we
whole
managed, yeah, we managed to prove that we could have stopped it, but nobody would listen to us. So then everybody starts noticing us.
diagram drawn with red crayon of like here's the thing that's going to destroy Atlantis, and here's a drawing in crayon of like what time it's going to happen, and we showed it to Atlantis and we showed it to Earth and nobody cared.
We don't draw things in crayon anymore.
Oh, you're right. Now we use quills and feathers.
Yes, and these are very fancy quills and feathers, and that ink is very fancy, and the parchment is very fancy. And it's just like a ton of what looks like actual Renaissance charts.
The subscribe walks past. He's like, those are technically mine.
Tell him, shut up, Jacob.
Okay, so that is how
Yes,
we get.
that starts our very first news interview, and then from there, like a little song starts playing, and then we start proceeding through a series of scenes of us moving up in the world. You know, one opportunity leads to 10 new ones, and then next thing you know, Todd's basically in charge of the world's education.
Perfect. Everybody's giving him an apple.
Yeah, we've got so many apples, it's a new problem.
He just redistributes them with whatever your thing is. My being given apples feeds into your feed the world plans.
Yep, I am using automation. I'm increasing the amount of available leisure time that everybody has. So everybody's basic quality of life is increasing and their satisfaction with their lives are increasing. Everybody's happier and they're well fed and they're becoming well educated and they have more time to watch Todd Talks.
What a well-oiled machine.
And now at the turn of the hour, we need to figure out what would be our threshold event to cross over into stage 6.
Okay. Now let me pull up again, because since you had put things into such nice words last time, where did I put that? Sketch planning? Maybe it's in the premises.
Goddamn RTC.
Should we have a character named RTC that we work in when this happens from now on?
No, because then we make it real. And then it's with us forever. It's only during extended periods of silence, or rather inactivity.
Oh, okay.
It seems to go to sleep.
Enlightenment has gone too far, and now Tucker and Todd realize the folly of hope. Humanity is a savage and barbaric child species that must be controlled and forcibly directed for its own sake in order to survive. Okay, so there needs to be some gigantic event which pushes us over the edge and makes us start resenting the people that we've been trying to improve.
Basically, it's going to have to be that despite our best efforts to educate the entire planet and basically try to eliminate crime and the reasons for crime, we're just getting rid of disparity. We're getting rid of scarcity, all that stuff. We're trying to close the wealth equality gap, and somehow something needs to happen that demonstrates that things aren't actually going to improve. That humans are the problem rather than their circumstances.
Is it like they build Atlantis 2 and then that gets destroyed also? Oh, they build Atlantis 2.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
they all
we are going to build Atlantis too. That's going to be our flagship project that we coordinate on. We're there.
Ah,
That's our like wonder society.
okay.
It's the first place where all of our new inventions and programs and stuff wind up. So it's the test bed and also the single most forward thinking and advanced society on the planet. And it's
But
going to be totally shit canned.
yeah, so does it gets shit canned from within? So there's like a civil war between the people that live in our society?
Oh yeah, it definitely. Oh, either it gets destroyed from within, or other people outside of Atlantis rise up and just devastate it. The entire rest of the world rises up to destroy it. We built that for you, and you destroyed it.
That makes sense.
Because we even though Atlantis is the most advanced and everything, it's it's where we prototype everything. So it's not like we have a world of haves and have-nots. Everybody else eventually has, but for some reason there's some kind of resentment that built up because why does Atlantis 2 get to be the favorite? Why can't we do some of this stuff? And whatever the reason is, humanity's petty and jealous. So they rise up and Atlantis 2 is destroyed, and that's the final straw. In fact,
So
it was probably the only straw, but that's it.
does that start with like either a global conference or like a war room scene, either with Atlantis 2 at the table or with them discluded, and it's like these jealous nations start plotting, but one of those things like why does Atlantis, yeah, exactly, why does Atlantis 2 always this little brother, little sibling syndrome or whatever? Why did they always get to get the whatever? How come why have they had the Olympics every year in a row?
Yeah, it's a war council, and Atlantis 2 is not invited. And neither are we. So it's all of the other nations in the world rising up together. We finally did it, by the way. We've united humanity just against Atlantis 2.
That's true. Do we know that they're having this war council without us?
We do not know. We are busy in Atlantis 2. I don't know, doing whatever we're doing.
I'm just trying to figure out how that gets around being limitless. Like, do they at least try to? They call it a different kind of. They call it like the secret
Oh,
party
well,
planning council or
that's the
whatever.
thing is we're enlightened. We're not perfectly limitless yet.
Oh, right. You're right. You're right.
This is the loss of Atlantis 2 is what causes us to go full limitless.
Okay, then this is allowed. This is good.
Yes, we still can't be everywhere at once. We're not completely consumed by our stuff.
Should it still be called like a kind of tongue in cheek, like a name with the word covert secret plan committee in it, just for the sake of it being obvious and dumb?
You mean it should be so overt that it's covert?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm all about it. We need more jokes.
Maybe it's called so overt it's covert. In quote marks. The so overt it's covert planning committee.
Nothing suspicious here.
In parentheses.
Yep, they're just in some underground bunker somewhere, just having their little council, and they're like, "That's it. We're going after Atlantis 2. We're going to show them that we mean business, that we want a bigger piece of that pie."
Is
And
that
so
what it's about? They just want a bigger piece of the pie. So does that mean then that we weren't giving them equal? Oh, we were giving them equal. They don't want equal. They want more.
yeah, they they kind of mistakenly assume that Atlantis 2 is the favorite, whereas it's simply the first. Everything gets tested there and perfected there. Like it's the first iteration.
Well, it's where everything radiates from.
Yes, and so since it passes through Atlantis 2 first, they get, like you said, little sibling syndrome. They're jealous and petty, even though they eventually get everything that, and they get better versions of it because it gets perfected and iterated on. So they get
Right.
the finished product, but they want to be in on the ground floor. They want to be testing stuff.
This is the Tin Soldier song.
So Atlantis 2 is now at the bottom of the sea with Atlantis 1, and we kind of just crack. I guess we're watching the news or something, and we're each holding a glass of brandy, and we simultaneously shatter them in our hands.
That old gag. And then we
Yep.
make a reference to we need to stop forgetting that those are the breakable stunt glasses, and then we pour another glass into proper glass.
The next one, it's like a metal chalice.
Yeah.
But we have to sit there in basically stunned silence because there are no words for how humanity has just betrayed us. And then we basically tremble, and then it happens. Whatever golden light was coming out of us before, it changes color into something else. I don't know if it should be like we go full red energy like this is an anime or something, but
Oh, I
we're
always think
definitely
like
no longer good.
black and purple, black and green. I'm always thinking eldritch colors.
Yeah. Because that's exactly what it is. We've just become eldritch beings. We just hit
Yeah,
limitless. We are
a
no
void
longer
beast.
tethered to this reality. And so we begin our descent into villainy.
Oh, the moment that we go limitless is that it cuts to whatever Columbo was doing in his corner of the world. He looks up immediately. He felt the disturbance in the force.
Not only did he feel the disturbance in the force, but he probably has some kind of like console somewhere with a little red light on it that's blinking right now. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, it literally is the little limitless warner.
Yeah. You know, there's error. There's code limitless. Something has happened.
It gets a close up on Columbo, and the soundtrack cuts out, and he just goes, "Fuck."
Mother of God.
Yeah. He swallows his sunglasses.
Yeah. And then he washes it down with an entire bottle of pancake syrup
Oh, okay.
because the Mother of God line is a reference to Super Troopers.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mother of God. And then down goes the bottle of pancake syrup.
I feel like most of Super Troopers is just references to other movies also.
Some of it sure is, and I do think that nonstop references where you don't really do anything with them except make them is probably the shittiest form of writing there ever was. It's like playing the game of remember when.
Yeah.
It's like those guys you might run into at the bar who are in their 30s and 40s who peaked in high school and still talk about those days because that's all they're doing is trying to relive those days. That's what those kinds of references are. They don't do anything new. They're just trying to poke at nostalgia.
While they test board games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind testing board games though. I just wouldn't reminisce.
It would board games would be fun.
Anyhow, we have now crossed over.
Yes, we have now crossed over. There's been, I guess, what it would be called is a threshold event, and that's what the little warning blinking sign over in Columbo's office is. And so either he's going to put on his mom disguise or he's going to take off his Columbo disguise and be mom.
Oh, that would be interesting. He shows up as mom to give us a scolding.
Oh
Oh,
no, he can't come anywhere near us. We'll just detect him. He's
okay.
going to have to go and talk to straight woman and Plato.
Do you
as
realize what
as
they said?
mom as mom because mom has more authority than Columbo will.
That's true. Does he reveal to them that he has been mom the entire time?
Nope,
Do
it's
they?
just mom shows up. Everybody knows who mom is.
And are we in the process? Are we doing some sort of like announcement over the world media to tell people, "Oh, you fucked up. You can't be helped." So we're taking over.
No, we don't announce our plans. We double down on our industries though. The the education systems of Todd's, they all become, you know, much more invasive and all that. And Tucker's automation stuff, it becomes also much more invasive.
Did we have some sort of
Like Tucker's gonna go iRobot with it.
was there like a protocol in place already for the like a bad version of doing things, and you just have to like kind of like throw the switch, or does it require more organization than that?
It requires more organization than that, but now that we're limitless, we can do all of that in our heads in just like a moment. We just bam immediately coordinate a new plan.
Do we have a gag where we do like the I dream of Genie hand cross and blink, or the bewitched nose wiggle or whatever for like a couple times, and then somebody points out, you don't have to do that, right? And it's like, I know, it just feels good.
Yes, I like that. Activate the something something. We don't have that. Well, then I'm going to invent it. Excuse me. And then later we activate it by doing that nose wiggle.
Yeah, I just like it feels more powerful,
Yeah, it's like kicking your heels together. No place like home.
And so I guess is we take over. Does the pseudo intellectualism come back into how we do villainy? I guess we need to start doing like do we have any specific villainous events that are going to have like because I think are we in this episode moving towards we have 45 minutes. Are we moving towards having the cast and crew employ our actual like Suicide Squad? I came up with a good name, pseudo intellectual side. That doesn't work. But anyways, the pseudo intellectual squad to team up against us.
Basically, all the kids from 4chan that we helped radicalize are now going to rise up.
Oh, so here's the thing. Because we were going to make fun of like Jordan Peterson and Ben Shapiro and all of those figures. Are those specific people by their names children that we from 4chan that we inspired to become those people, or are we doing kind of like parodies of them?
Parodies of them, but they have to pretty clearly be, of them.
Actual parodies, doing the Kermit the Frog voice for one and the robot voice for the other one.
Kermit the Frog here. Yeah.
You only need to clean your room.
that's like his only talking point.
Well, it's all these postmodernists, they dismantle everything. If nothing means anything, then, well, god damn it, I'm just gonna start crying because I'm so sad about how we don't follow the Bible anymore.
Yep, this is definitely a byproduct of our pseudo-intellectual stage. It's going to come back to haunt us. But in the meantime, we're heavily expanding our education and automation systems. And in fact, by now, Tucker is probably half machine himself because having meat reminds him of humanity and he doesn't like that.
Are you like General Grievous or whatever?
Worse.
What is left of you?
Probably just a brain.
Do you have the rest of you like on ice or something like that? Is it recoverable, or are we just doing a you killed Kenny thing?
We're just gonna do you killed Kenny thing where it's just like the next scene. I guess I'm all right.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you are mostly machine now. You're one of these things.
Well, yeah, I'm in the process of it, but I'm gonna send you some to look at to know what kind of energy I'm gonna give Tucker.
Oh, and I guess so. You say you're in the process of it. So over time,
Yes,
like
it's
from
an
one scene to
opportunity for
another,
him to go from scene to scene with just like more and
slightly
more cybernetic augmentation until he's basically just a brain in a Terminator shell.
I like that. Oh, I think you might have sent me this specific video before. I can't remember.
I love it
because I'm looking at like the tentacle-y thing.
That is the kind of energy Tucker is going to have by the climax of the episode when he's going full villain. He's just going to be the machine.
Okay, and I guess I'm gonna do sort of a mega mind thing. I guess
that's what I was thinking, and you're probably gonna have like some Professor X Cerebro shit going on, where you are now some kind of psychic thing that is touching human minds, and basically you're doing the hive mind that McConaughey wishes he could have done.
I have a few upgrades myself, but I don't have your technical skills, so I just have like big dryer hoses connecting different parts of my head.
Yeah, you probably have like a pretty cool aperture that is like a great big half circle dome for a helmet. So it covers your eyes, but like your
Yeah,
nose and the bottom of your head is still out of it, but it's got like electrical diodes all over it. Cool stuff.
just just a bunch of buttons that don't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one of those because don't they call it like the most useless button or whatever? That little thing where you flick it and then a little articulated hand comes out and flicks it closed. I have one of those on my head.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
A little hatch opens, a little finger comes out. I hadn't thought about it at all before. You have done some aesthetic imagining. I'm now just engaging in it.
Yeah, I did indeed. I'm guilty of having considered what kind of villain I want Tucker to become. He has embraced the machine. Humanity is impure. Machines obey, and Todd's going to make them obey. Todd's basically going to make them into biological machines through his megamind influence.
That's great. Okay, so we start achieving that, and so we would need to. So if we've been progressing from us, our bodies are changing and developing as we become progressively worse. That means a fair amount of time has passed, and all that time we have been inaccessible by the crew that's trying to get to us. So do we at this point cut away to, or do we need to create an actual like world-threatening event for them to rise up against?
No, because
This whole thing
we're
is
kind of taking control in a very insidious, calculated way from a societal level. So you're indoctrinating them, and then I'm making them totally dependent on my machines to live comfortably and conveniently. Like I've given everybody super duper ultra smartphones.
right.
And every single one of those super duper ultra smartphones happens to be a little beacon through which your mega mind is projected.
But we've effectively turned the utopia into a dystopia.
Yes, we've eliminated free will, basically. Free will was the problem. You know, that old chestnut.
Oh, is this an opportunity for a joke where, and maybe it's not even a joke, but it's like a whole bit where because free will has been completely depleted, we what the heroes, the protagonists in this are going to have to do is free Will. I don't know, Will Smith. He's been locked up. I don't know.
I mean, he can definitely iRobot me a little bit.
Oh yeah, we have to free will so that free will is restored, or they have to free will so that
A
free
little
will is
bit.
restored.
Will can restore free will now that he's free.
It works out for me, or checks. I don't know. That tracks for me is what I meant to say.
We have to free will. What's the matter? Well, we don't have enough free will. Well, why didn't you say so? He's right over here.
And then it's not enough, so we have to free Willy.
But he dies because he's a fucking whale.
No, Will zaps Willy with a zapper thing because he thought it was an alien. It explodes in an explosion of bloody chunks.
I think he should actually explode into sushi rolls.
With the what is it, the explosion of gold coins sound effect though, or gold rings, I guess. They
Oh
tumble and bounce
yeah,
and fade. You have to
yeah,
collect them before
from
they flash
Sonic.
out of existence. Yeah,
From Sonic, all the rings.
but these are sushi rolls. They bounce around and then they flash out of view.
Okay, so naturally, like with any case, there's going to be an underground movement. There always is. There's always like an underground, people who aren't indoctrinated, people who reject the system. That's how the Matrix works, baby.
Is it a railroad?
I think that might be a little on the nose.
They meet in a subway station.
That I'm okay with. So there is an underground resistance. Straight woman is definitely part of it. I don't know if Plato would be. Plato might still actually be kind of pretending that we're just slightly misled and that we'll come around. Like he's probably blinded by his own hope in us.
Oh, he's kind of in denial. Oh, is there any chance that we actually start turning him then?
We wouldn't be able to turn him all the way, but we might be in the process of doing so. But we're definitely kind of holed up in our villain layer and just letting our because we've developed large industries and organizations, so we mostly just direct them. We get personally involved very little. We hang around in our evil layer and plan evil plans and further augment ourselves to distance our bodies from humanity.
Do we still have Jeopardy playing in the background?
Absolutely, because only Trebek is a match for us. He's definitely part of the underground.
Oh, that's interesting. He's part of the underground. Do we then, in the future, at whatever point we are defeated, do we make eye contact with Trebek in some sort of like emotional? I don't know. Is because you said on the railroad, is Trebek part of the group that helps defeat us?
I think he should be. Yeah, if we establish, like, if we characterize him as being a match for us, like he's our idol. We once we love Jeopardy, he becomes the man, and he definitely joins the resistance.
And we have like an intense uh 2-on-1 uh what's it called, like a duel, but I guess it's not a duel. What do you call it when there's three people? A triad?
Are we fighting?
I don't know. I thought that if Trebek is the only one who's a match for us, if we end up fighting Trebek as like a mini boss or something like that.
Oh no, he's an intelligence match for us. He manages to coordinate the underground and keep it hidden from us. He's the reason why we can't detect them. We
Oh,
can't
that makes
find them, we can't exterminate them.
Oh, and it would be okay, that's funny too. Okay, but Trebek still speaks in Jeopardy questions, so he's sort of a Yoda character.
Yeah.
He's wearing like the brown canvas cloak or whatever.
Oh, he's actually a Jedi. He's goddamn Qui-Gon Jinn.
Which would make it even better if we ended up fighting against. Well, I guess if everybody is in Jedi costumes at some point, it's part of the resistance. I don't know. That's getting too in the weeds.
But yeah, we're definitely not combatants. You probably shoot like mind bullets at people, and I bet you I have like a gun hand I can just do. You know, go gadget gun hand. But we're not fighters. We're just like we're really really smart.
Oh, but we should have henchmen of some sort.
Oh yeah, we've got henchmen everywhere. I've got probably like killer robots.
And they're robots, but they're blue flying monkey robots.
I don't see why not. I'm sure you can assist me in their design. That seems like a very Todd thing.
Yeah, whatever they end up being. Henchmen. I like the thumbs from Spy Kids. That's what I want all the henchmen to be.
I haven't seen that one in a long time. You're gonna have to refresh my memory.
Oh, well, they were creatures. They looked like humans. They had they were bipedal constructions, but they were all thumbs. So they had two legs for thumbs, two thumbs for legs, two thumbs for arms, and a thumb for a head.
That's horrifying. Can we make them out of machines?
Yeah, definitely.
Basically, our all of our stuff will come together to create the Borg, just a hive mind cybernetic organism.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Actually, interesting.
That's our ultimate goal for humanity.
Oh, what the hell is a JFIF?
I have no idea, but I don't trust it. Oh, now I remember, and I definitely remember why I didn't remember. I blocked that from my memory, and now it's been brought back.
Look, it's Joe Rogan.
The resemblance is uncanny.
This is actually what Joe Rogan is going to look like when he shows up versus Ro Jogan.
What's Rojogan going to look like? Just like him, though?
I guess so. It's all middle fingers.
I mean, yeah. That's probably what I would have him be. Is just all middle fingers.
And he actually looks at Ro Jogan. He's like, "What are you supposed to be?" He's like, "All middle fingers." It's like, how am I supposed to tell?
Because of my attitude.
Oh, they're all middle fingers, but they look like pinkies because Ro Jogan is 5'3".
Oh boy.
Anyways, memes.
So our henchmen are going to be Borgish things. So cybernetic hive mind stuff. Part machine, part person, all under control. But
Yeah,
Trebek knows how to deactivate them or placate them or whatever. Because it turns out that actually he's just a little bit better than one of us is. So he's not quite a match for both of us, but he can beat one of us. Which is why he needs the resistance. And that's why he put together the pseudo-intellectuals and straight woman is there. And it'll be Trebek that turns Plato against us.
maybe it's like our technology has some sort of logic drive in it that can't get around the idea of use it answer starting with an answer and answering with a question.
I think that's probably the best way for Trebek to defeat our henchmen is to actually start quizzing them.
He zigs our zags.
Either they start breaking down because of the logic, because answering an answer with a question makes no sense to them, or they're just really captivated and entertained. Could be both. Whatever it is, they fall over and start
So they're,
sparking.
they're starstruck.
I mean, they're technically part of Todd's hive mind,
Oh,
and
that's
Todd would be starstruck.
so the two things to yeah. So you can either confuse them with logic loops, or you can distract them with a mommy.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, that too. But Annabelle isn't going to appear in this episode.
No,
Sorry, everyone.
wasn't there another mommy?
Well, there is Mom, but
Yeah.
she does not evoke that response. She does evoke the yes, ma'am, right away, ma'am response in Todd, though, but she's not here. Although Mom has definitely been kind of providing support and assistance to the resistance because it's in Columbo's best interest to keep things under control, at least a little bit, without getting directly involved.
So is there some sort of gigantic like? So where are we holed up? We have a headquarters of some
Yeah,
kind. Atlantis was destroyed.
we're in a freaking volcano layer or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We're in a facility.
Okay, that yeah, we should actually there should be a villain layer so that we can hit that trope.
In fact, our villain layer is probably in a facility in the outside.
Oh, cool. But you have to find an island that rises up out of the water so that a secret door can open in the side of a cliff so that you can fly in to get to the portal that takes you to the outside.
Oh, so the portal to get to our layer is inside of another layer.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Because
I want to hit the
that's the kind of multi-level sort of villainy that I think cartoonishly intelligent villains would do. The key to his castle is inside of another castle.
exactly. Yeah. It's the world's most
What
intense
a
moat.
dick.
It's a multi-dimensional moat.
So obviously the underground has to find a way to infiltrate the facility only to find a portal to the outside where our real facility is.
And to reuse a
But
set.
we
Oh,
oh, sorry, I cut you off.
I was going to say to reuse a set, we're at the place where we defeated Paperboy.
Either where we defeated Paperboy or somewhere like in that prison set where we wound up fighting McConaughey.
Right, yeah. That
One
was
or
a,
the other or both.
I think that was the upside down version of the Sendables compound.
Correct.
Okay, anyways, one of those.
Okay, so Trebek is leading the resistance, but the people who are actively probably infiltrating will definitely be the pseudo intellectuals. And they're going to get lost. And they're going to use pseudo intellectualism to find their way back out. Basically, I want them to magoo their way out because pseudo intellectualism only works if you're lucky.
So are they going to have like a set of directions written out with like step 1, step 2, step 3 and then they deliberately choose to ignore step 2 and step 4 and still somehow accidentally end up escaping but in the wrong way
Exactly. They need to just like get lucky
by doing the math wrong?
by doing the math their own way, which is
Yeah,
wrong.
well, that's how I got through school.
I'm still not sure I did. There's a part of me still back there, still doing that maths, still not figuring it out.
And we're chained to those versions of ourselves. So Trebek, so does anybody come face to face with us at any point? The pseudo villains get lost. Are they the ones that do the final showdown with us? Do we need to establish them a little bit more?
We need to establish them a little bit more. They're going to be in the final showdown, and they're probably going to do little more than like badly confuse us. Because their pseudo intellectualism is actually now so far removed from our way of thinking that it's impossible to conceive.
So how do we respond to them? Like with disgust or with confusion?
With confusion, we can't even parse what they say or think.
Oh, that would be an interesting point. Do we use quotes from the people that we're satirizing and then we respond to those with utter confusion?
I like that. Especially when, the not Jordan Peterson comes in and tells us to clean our room.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the like the most the things that each of those people are kind of like most famous for. Yeah, their catchphrases, their villainous taglines. The robot speak one. We can't actually keep up with what it's saying. It just keeps hammering away with words, and we can't keep up with it. We can't. I don't even know what you're saying anymore.
The RTC betrayed me again.
Once again, fool us 3 times. Shame on I don't know the RTC.
Yeah, shame on the RTC. So we're going to be infiltrated by a crack team.
Before that, do we have straight women going around doing kind of like a Nick Fury recruiting the 4chan boys to turn them into the
Well, yeah, they'll already be in the resistance because we still represent socialism, so so they'll naturally be in the resistance, but straight woman needs to go through them, and yeah, Nick Fury start collecting them and whipping them into teams. One team is going to be straight woman and Trebek. Plato is with us, but straight woman and Trebek will get there in time for Trebek to turn Plato against us and thus make them a team of three. The pseudo-intellectuals that have been gathered by straight women, they are their own team, and they've been allowed to be their own team for some reason. They got lost, so of course they're going to show up late. So the confrontation with us at first is everybody, all the good guys on the losing side. They aren't going to be able to turn it around until the pseudo intellectuals show up.
okay.
So even with Plato turned against us, they're still not quite a match for us. Even with Trebek being able to take out our henchmen, they can't convince us to give it up, and they can't do anything to stop us.
And it seems like it's going to be a grim end, but the pseudo intellectuals show up to Samwise it right at the end.
Pretty much exactly that. They're gonna wander in. They'll be arguing with each other as they come in the door. Be like, I bet you this is the wrong fucking place too. They're all blaming each other for everything that they've already done wrong themselves.
Oh, so not only are they the key to beating us back, but they also actually magoo the situation.
Yes, they only accidentally managed to get there just in time. And everybody, well, straight woman and Trebek knew that they were supposed to be there, but Plato and both of us are totally confused to see them because to us it seems like, are you lost? Are you sure you weren't looking for somewhere else? Because they don't seem like this is where they ought to be.
Right, and we don't even know who they are.
You will. So they will then have to proceed to Magoo us.
Oh, was it a magoo in that them showing up distracted us, and while we're distracted, or are we still limitless enough? We just turn around, and that's when Trebek and Straight Woman and Plato throw the sacks over our heads or whatever. How are we going to be defeated?
Oh, no. Straight Woman and Plato and Trebek are still largely ineffective against us
Right.
because they're appealing to what
Oh,
we're
right. You
we're
are.
better at. Like
It's us
they're
getting
trying to
confused.
do, yeah. Yeah, the only way to defeat us is to get us with something we can't prepare for or something that we can't figure out faster.
Oh,
And the
so
only
should it
thing
be
that
one of
can do
those?
that is the nonsense that the you got to clean your room.
Do they ever notice that it's their nonsense that's defeating us? So they just start talking at first, and then they realize that we're like wincing and shrinking and like changing in appearance, like morphing back into old form or whatever. And so they like get a burst of wind in their sails and take a step toward us, like it's like an it or whatever. When they realize that not being scared is what defeats them.
Yeah, it should probably go down exactly like that. And I think it's funny if we like your dumbass dome helmet falls off,
Yeah.
and like my some of my cybernetics start falling off, and it's actually just me under them. Ah, how's my hand back?
All naked.
Yeah, will be censored.
Well, we're Ken dolls anyways.
Yeah, exactly. We're an experiment.
And
But
so
yes,
they
they start hitting us with their talking points, and they see that it's effective, and so Plato and Trebek are like, "Go on, tell us more."
Yeah.
So like they or no, straight woman argues with them. That causes them to
Oh.
go into a furious rampage where they
They
because it like Trebek and Plato encourage them to continue because they see that it's working, but they start running out of steam, and being encouraged doesn't work on them very well. It's largely ineffective. But
but having to
straight
be the
woman
girl to
starts yeah, straight woman starts arguing with them. Not only is somebody disagreeing with them, but it's a woman. So that really fires them up, and they get a second wind, and they start talking even faster.
That's very funny. Oh, and
Oh
as they
yeah.
start talking faster, is that when they start kind of they start does that blow like mutate them a little bit as we start shrinking, they start growing? or does that take
Yeah,
place
pretty
later?
much. They grow in power. Their transformation probably won't be as fantastic and huge and immediate as ours, but they will clearly start getting more powerful. I think they're gonna get like new haircuts as they do it. They're gonna grow bigger foreheads.
Bigger veins on the foreheads,
Yeah, they're gonna get angry veins on their foreheads for sure.
more sunken eyes, burst capillaries on the tips of the noses.
Their eyes will turn bloodshot and their teeth will get bigger.
Looking
and
all ravenous.
and they're going to talk with their hands a lot more.
That's very funny.
And so yeah, they start undergoing a change as we become progressively pushed
Their
back.
their 4chan basement dweller clothes turn into suits.
Yeah, but like not even nice suits, but like rough kind of wool.
Yeah, Walmart suits.
Like old-timey professor suits where they look more like smoking jackets. They're just kind of rough wool.
Oh, so like the tweed professor look,
Yes, exactly. Wool tweed.
patches on the elbows.
Absolutely. Elbow patches are mandatory for this wool tweed, this suit. But yeah, and they start progressing, and I don't know if it doesn't push us out of the limitless state, but it renders us practically catatonic. So we'll be put in a weakened enough state that whatever device or uh, process we've engaged with a big red button, probably now Plato can go and turn it off, because we're probably sending our Borg type minions, our henchmen, to start trying to forcibly convert entire cities right now.
Oh, they're just marching.
Yeah, they're really slowly too. They're just like walking, and so people are just kind of watching them approach and like just as slowly backing up and away or stepping to one side so that this Borg thing has to turn in place and then start walking towards them again. So like somebody didn't think that part through. They are inevitable, but we could have made them faster. But Plato turns them off, so they all just deactivate.
Does he make some sort of like deeply regretful statement about caves and shadows?
Yeah, probably. I never should have left the cave.
I suppose some shadows should belong in caves or something like that. Should remain.
Some shadows should remain on the cave wall.
Yeah, I like that.
And so we're not limited yet, but we are, rendered kind of inert. We're catatonic. We're about to go into a pseudo intellectualism induced coma. These guys will not stop now that a woman has argued with them. In fact, they're going to become a whole new problem. But for right
Yeah.
now, they've more or less broken us down enough that mom can arrive and give us our pills.
Oh, that's how we're getting out of there?
Yeah, we're basically on the ground kind of twitching, and mom is going to show up and just our mouths are wide open. She's just going to come by and just drop a pill in each one.
Is it going to be a thing where it's like she's going to say like I'll hold them off. You need to get out kind of thing? Cuz I'm not sure how
I
are the
like that.
villains focusing on us?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
You all need to get out of here. I'll hold them off. You need to get out of here. And then I guess Plato and Trebek are going to have to drag the pseudo intellectuals out. They're still ranting, but they're ranting as they're being dragged on their heels. They're standing sideways as they're being pulled out by the shirt collars.
Sorry, say that again. The pseudo intellectuals are?
Yes, they're still ranting and they won't shut up. Plato and Trebek have to drag them out of there on their heels.
Oh,
They're standing sideways, being dragged out by their shirt collars as they're ranting.
so they're coming. I thought that's who mom was going to be holding off. I thought they were the new threat and we needed to get away from them, but they're coming with us?
They're going with straight woman, Trebek, and Plato. Mom is holding us off. She needs
Oh,
to
we don't have our pills yet. Okay, okay, I
yeah,
get it.
they haven't necessarily taken effect. She also needs to scrub the scene.
That is, yeah, that's better. So that removes them. So do Plato and Straight Woman and Trebek use like the Midnight at the Apollo cane to drag them by the neck?
Yeah, and they otherwise probably try to just lose them somewhere.
Maybe as they aren't able to argue with us, they start arguing with each other, and we kind of leave them distracted in a corner. I don't know. Oh yeah, we do the
Yeah,
thing where
they were arguing with straight women.
they were arguing with straight women. And oh, so does she how do they leave they'll I don't know. Leave them lost.
Yeah, she's basically going to try to lose them somewhere, so they'll probably wind up lost in the upside down until we need them.
Does she like dare or challenge them to prove some sort of posturing thing, and that leaves them shanghaied or whatever?
Oh, yeah, that is the kind of thing that would work on them. Is she signals for the lads to stop, and then she just like asks one question or be like, "I'm just asking questions," because that always works. And then they stand up. Somehow they got a soapbox, and then from there they proceed to start going on a diatribe like a proper demagogue, both of them at once, arguing with each other, and they're just left standing there arguing with each other.
It's Peterson and what's his name, the Harris guy, Sam Harris. They're arguing about what was it? What truth is
Ugh.
for 3 hours.
I expect that these caricatures will take longer than that.
Yeah, of course. Everything is magnified. Pseudo intellectual years. It's like dogs and humans.
Yeah. So that leaves them taken care of for now. Trebek, Straight Woman, and Plato probably all depart through the portal, and I I actually kind of assume they want to close it behind them so that none of us can get back, at least not easily. After all, we did just basically turn into world dominating super terrorists.
Yeah, they need to close it out. And do they make any sort of statement for the sake of whether it's the audience or whatever to say like, well, if this goes well, then they have some sort of ability to get out, and if it doesn't go well, then we're going to want this closed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Tucker and Todd have their ways.
Yeah, if we're limited, we have Magoo powers to get basically wherever we gotta go.
Precisely. And so we are left with just mom. Are we? So we're still in a
By the time we wake up, it'll be Columbo again. I bet.
Oh, good idea. That is smart. So we wake up but we're still in a limitless state when we wake up.
No, no. While we were catatonic with our mouths open, Mom slipped a pill into each of our mouths, so we're probably already starting to come down from our limitless state. We're probably drugged enough that we're on our way into pseudo intellectualism ourselves.
Oh, do we do the little waking up from a catatonic state thing where we see a blurred image of mom, but mom has like, or we see a blurred image of Columbo with mom's hair, or the other way around, a blurred image of mom with Columbo's hat.
And overcoat and
Yeah,
cigar.
yeah, yeah. And then as it becomes unblurry, it's just Columbo.
Yeah, there was no hair. That's weird.
I could have
And
sworn.
then it's just Columbo, and he's already talking. He's mid lecture, and he says, "And one more thing," and we're starting to come back to normal. We're not all the way there yet, but Columbo probably already has like a briefcase full of our best inventions that he likes the most and feels like keeping.
Oh, and as we're coming down through the stages, you said we go back into pseudo intellectual. So do we start making like kind of weak, uh, soft spoken pseudo intellectual proclamations, and he's sort of like patronizingly like, yes, yes.
He probably tells us to take another pill. Oh, you guys, you need another one of these. What's this? This is vitamins. I don't need vitamins. Pseudo intellectualism happens. Probably just like grabs us each by the scruff of the neck and shoves them down our throats.
It immediately works.
Yeah, because pseudo intellectuals probably need to be force fed. In the meantime, he collects up the things he wants and more or less keeps that layer for himself.
That layer. Now we don't have any layers.
No, now we just have the studio again. But we have to get back there. He's probably it. Plato will probably, or not Plato. Columbo will probably look at us and be like, "Hey, boys, what's that over there?" And we'll look, and then he'll just push us through a portal.
Oh, just one that he's concocted.
Yeah, why not? That's how Mom got there so easily.
Yeah, of course. And we're just back in the studio. When we
I
get
think
there,
I think it would be funnier if we fell into a dumpster somewhere.
oh, that is fun.
Just not necessarily at the studio, close by enough. Uh, I want to assume that a portal you make just on a whim like that isn't super accurate, so we just fall out of the sky into a dumpster.
It's at the Pollos Hermanos across the street.
Yeah. And then immediately afterwards, somebody throws a broken cell phone on top of my head.
And then we make our way back to the studio. Do we make our way back to the studio? We could end it there, I guess, with us making a remark about like not remembering anything that happened for the past whatever. Do we remember? Is this all wiped? We've been
Oh,
limited again.
yeah, we're limited again. So even if we can remember all that stuff, we can't understand it.
Oh,
So
do
it's
we
it's like a bizarre series of images. It's almost like watching a movie you can't quite remember.
do we have to I feel like we do actually have to come back to the studio so that we can have a scene where we walk in and everybody screams or like tenses up and we see that they're watching the news and we're like, the news, and everybody like relieves.
Yeah, everybody sighs and their shoulders sag and they're like, oh, thank Christ. Whew. Everybody is suddenly happy to live with a couple of idiots.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
like
okay,
Straight
we
Woman is
have
like,
to
Jeff's got a
wander back.
test. She brings over a Sudoku.
Oh yeah, just to make sure. We look at it. Ugh, I can't add that.
We vomit. Start
Numbers.
crying.
One of us vomits, the other one goes into the fetal position and starts crying.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're like, okay, it's all good.
So yeah, we're gonna have to wander our way back. We will Magoo our way back from the dumpster. Like we're gonna narrowly dodge a traffic accident.
Oh, of course.
Oh, I know what
A
that
wrecking
means.
ball misses us.
Yeah, exactly. Our Magoo powers are back. And so we walk in and then everybody gets to be relieved that we're stupid again.
And is there any I feel like this is the sort of thing that like is very well suited to a post-credit sequence with like what's going on with Columbo.
Uh, Either what's going on with Columbo or what's going on with the pseudo-intellectuals.
Oh, maybe, yeah, some hint that they're going to find their way out of the outside or that they discover something in the outside. Maybe they find like some artifact that we had hidden in the lair. The straight woman actually left them in the worst spot she could have, but she didn't know because she's never been a part of that storyline.
Oh, they're outside of the layer. The layer is now in control of Columbo.
Oh, okay.
So all of the resources that we've invented and stuff and put there are in the hands of Columbo. But there are other artifacts all over the place on the outside, including stuff left there by Paperboy.
Right. I was going to say, because now this is episode 8, so we have 5 left. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 5. I mean, we can be flexible with that, but I like the whole 13 thing. We could wrap this arc up. Could some of the stuff, all of these arcs that are coming together, because we still have the NFT with Gollum, the hero's journey monomyth thing.
Yep, the mommy myth.
Is the mommy myth, was the mommy myth an artifact that came from the D&D section during the outbreak?
Oh yeah, probably.
And yeah, maybe. I wonder if it turns. Oh fuck! I wonder if it turns out that Plato is actually not Plato. That maybe Plato actually came from the D&D section too. I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea that Plato's just like a time traveling philosopher.
Yeah, kind of. I guess I sort of forgot about that whole bit too. Yeah, yeah, he was around before. Yeah, then never mind. I don't like that idea. He was already around.
But I do think it would be okay to have either a split screen post credit where it shows both Plato and the pseudo intellectuals at the same time finding something that they definitely shouldn't have.
Ah,
And they're both timed so that they happen at the same time in sequence. And
they
they
find
both
something
they both
that'll
have an just like that.
they find something that'll help them out. Because I guess what's going on with Plato, he was sort of, I guess he wasn't corrupted, but I guess at one point he would have, did he lose hope at any point? He believed in us the whole time and stayed with us.
He believed in us so much, and he was about ready to come to our side because of our superior logic.
So does he have any sort of existential crisis then, that he was actually so far gone and realizes that he was
Oh,
on the wrong side of
probably.
history?
Probably. He's probably, I don't know if he thinks he's on the wrong side of history. He didn't actually make any choice until he chose to oppose us.
Right.
But he hesitated, and that's enough to bother him.
Oh, does he feel guilty and so he decides to start taking limiting pills as well?
I think that'd be funny, and then he's a dumbass like us for an episode.
And he feels that is the punishment that he deserves, or something like that.
Except that once he's limited from the pills, he doesn't remember why he's taking them.
Yeah, he would lose
He
track
just
of
thinks
that
they're vitamins.
thought. Okay.
There might be no explanation as to why he stops either. It's just convenient for him to stop. So, a post credit scene where both the pseudo intellectuals as well as Columbo both discover something in their respective locations that they definitely should not be allowed to have. Columbo was looking for it because he's combing through the facility looking for all of the super genius stuff that we invented,
Right.
whereas the pseudo intellectuals just luck upon it as they're wandering in the outside arguing with each other.
Now, because if I recall correctly, Columbo as mom, I can't remember which came first, chicken or egg, but I feel like she was keeping us limited because she knew that we had the potential to create something dangerous. Does she want it to get rid of it and destroy it so that it can't exist, or she don't want it for herself?
Right now, Columbo will be cataloging it to see what he might like to keep and what should be destroyed.
Okay.
That's why he wants the whole place to himself. He's combing through it. He's already probably picked out a couple of choice things, but we're definitely being limited to limit the amount of trouble we can cause.
I like the idea that as he's like cataloging all the things, he's like picking up all these evil, awful devices, and at one point gets to that the fleshlight, that the automated fleshlight that moves itself, or something like that. Like all these evil weapons, and then just like a convoluted sex toy.
Oh,
And then his reaction is just like, "Oh,
it's
boys."
probably that sex doll that was in Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Just sitting in the
boys.
corner. Oh boys.
Just disappointed
I think that would be a decent nod
in
to
the
Rick and
corner,
Morty too.
in the corner with a gloss finish.
Ew. I don't think it should be stuck to anything. We were clean living.
No, not stuck to anything. It's just got a high gloss finish. It looks like a buffed and lacquered guitar.
All right, so long as it's not glossy because it's slick.
No, not slick.
Teeth marks and other signs of use are okay
Oh, good
though.
idea. Yeah, all sorts of crazy teeth marks.
Yeah, signs of use are okay. But yeah, it should be. I'm okay with that one being a reference to Rick and Morty because that's already some mad science that we borrow from a lot.
Definitely. Okay, yeah, I'm yawning too much.
Okay, then it's time to wrap it up, everybody.
I think it was I think we wrapped it up within the time limit, anyways.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's what Columbo's doing. We haven't decided yet what he finds and what he discards and what he keeps, nor have we decided what it is that the pseudo intellectuals have found. But whatever it is, they've stumbled onto it, and it's good for them.
I think having some time to think of it with like an edit and a week in between, maybe that's something that we can tag on. I'm not sure. Do you know? Do you have an idea what it? Because I'm thinking the thing that the pseudo intellectuals would have found would be something that helps them get out of the unknown, or the unknown, the outside, or is it something that empowers them and leads to? Is it a thing where like they live in in the outside for years while a minute passes on Earth, kind of thing, and they develop and become like big crazy villains there, and then break their way out to do like a Space Jam space Earth takeover thing?
Whatever it is, it'll have to be something that allows them to both leave the outside, but also, empower them in some way. So it'll have to be able to do both.
I do like the idea that it's
I don't know
physically
if they're going to
confined.
stay there a long time, but that's basically our great big shelf of stuff that we will dust off when convenient.
Right. Okay.
So I think we're done.
Yes, I think that was a whole story and a whole storyline with everything that we wanted and a whole bunch of jokes that I don't think I was even expecting.
It's convoluted sex toy.
Yeah.
I mean, what are a couple of boy geniuses supposed to do?
Well, I mean, we were trying to maximize efficiency.
Naturally. So, how do you want to sign this one off, Todd?
Oh, right. I forgot that I was even going to come up. It would be sort of funny if we just had a different catchphrase at the end of every single episode.
Convoluted sex toy.
Yeah. Get your convoluted sex toys.
That's my catchphrase for today.
This has been Tucker and Todd, the home of the convoluted sex toys. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you join us next week, where we will be discussing the next point in this plot. You know, the villains that we were talking about this whole time, they're coming back. We're going to defeat them, probably, maybe, who knows. Tune in.
Next week, we're probably not doing that at all.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we're probably doing the NFT.
We're going to do an in-between.
We've been playing with this plot for a while now. It's probably time to mix it up.
Right. Yeah, we do a little interim story that will connect the time in between. It'll give our heroes and our villains time to figure out what they're doing when we return to them the next week.
And it'll give us some time to decide exactly what it is that Columbo and the pseudo-intellectuals have found.
Oh, right. And what it has to, maybe it has something to do with the NFT.
Well, yeah, because its true power has yet to be decided as well.
For sure. Anyways, that's all in due time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Todd.
I'm Tucker.
Have a good night.
Good night, Craig.
Fuck Tucker. Tucker sucks. And fuck Tucker's friend, Todd.